Today we're going to talk about how landlords can avoid fair housing violations. And this is going to be very, very important for you if you're considering renting your property. But first, I want to encourage you to subscribe to our channel below and then turn on your notifications. We'll keep producing great landlord-friendly content. So what is the Fair Housing Act? The Fair Housing Act, established in 1968 as a part of the Civil Rights Act, is a federal law that aims to ensure equal access to housing opportunities for individuals and families. It prohibits any form of discrimination in the sale, rental, or financing of housing based on the protected classes that we're going to get into here in just 1 second. So let's get into the protected classes. What are they? Well, number one, we're going to talk about race. So what is it? Well, you cannot discriminate based on race. This means whether you're a landlord who's renting property or you're just a homeowner who's selling a piece of property, you can't discriminate based on race. Color is a protected class. So based on the skin tone somebody has, you cannot refuse housing or discriminate against. The third protected class is national origin. You can't discriminate against somebody based on where they're from, what ethnicity they are. This means that housing providers can't discriminate against someone because they're from a particular country or have a particular ancestry. All right, guess what? You can't discriminate based on religion either. This means that if you're a landlord or you're just a seller, you can't discriminate based on somebody's religious beliefs or their practices. Additionally, the Fair Housing Act protects individuals from discrimination based on sex. This includes discrimination against somebody because they're either male or female, or either discrimination based on gender identity or sexual orientation. And so for our next protected class, this is where I see landlords make a lot of mistakes. And this is based on familial status. You cannot discriminate based on familial status. This means that if somebody has a family, you can't say, I'm sorry, this property is only rented to single people or to couples that don't have any kids. You can't discriminate based on familial status. Lastly, the Fair Housing Act protects individuals with disabilities from discrimination. Now, this includes discrimination based on a physical or a mental impairment. You are required to make reasonable accommodations for individuals with disabilities to ensure equal access to housing opportunities. The last thing I would say here, and this is a question we get asked often, is do I have to lease my house to a Section 8 resident? Now, where I'm sitting here in Birmingham, Alabama today, you do not have to lease your house to a Section 8 resident. You can absolutely say no Section 8 residents can apply because they're not a protected class. However, in other areas of the country, you do have to allow your property to be rented or made available to Section 8 residents. And so you just need to really look into the local laws of the regions or the cities that you're looking to lease properties in, maybe your own home, and see if this is something that you need to do or you don't have to do. So what are the biggest mistakes that we see landlords make when it comes to the Fair Housing Act? Number one is using discriminatory criteria while you're screening residents. If you're using that, you need to check out your application process. The second biggest mistake we see is not making accommodations for people with disabilities. This means that if you have somebody who's applied to your property and they've been approved and they're bound to a wheelchair, you need to make accommodations for that. As a matter of fact, under the Fair Housing Act, you must make accommodations for this resident. Failure to do so is a fair housing violation. And then lastly, the biggest mistake is really just treating people differently based on one of these protected classes. And so if you're a landlord who's considering renting out your house, we hope this video has helped you think through how you're going to market and take applications and making sure that you're following the fair housing guidelines. This is highly important. If we can ever help you, if Evernest can ever help you, please reach out to us at sales@evernest.co. We make sure that all of our screening criteria is in line with the Fair Housing Act and there's no discrimination whatsoever anyone who qualifies can rent one of our properties. So if you need any help with that, please don't hesitate to reach out. Or if you'd like a free rental analysis, go ahead and click the link below this video. We'll make sure to get you one of those, and you can speak with somebody on our team in your local market. Last thing, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and we'll be back with more landlord-friendly content soon.